Welcome back, y'all. This is your girl Tiffany Deni. It is the Tiffany Deni Show. We are back for the culture with the culture. We have a show lined up for y'all. I am excited to talk to y'all today. It is August 31st. We are in the last week of August. That is hard to believe. It's almost over for us. It's almost done. Like, we got 3 more months in this year. That's wild to me. So it just went by so fast. And if you listen to the music, you can tell it's Virgo season. Your girl Tiffany Deni is a Virgo, so I am going to be listening to some Virgo music today. We got my Beyonce, we got my Nas, we got the best of the best on the music selection, because you know I do love my Virgos. So some things we're going to get into immediately is what we have going on. We have the town hall meeting on September the 8th. That is the second annual town hall meeting that we have with Family Flavors, and that's exciting because we're going to be talking to people of this community. We're going to be talking to people running for this election coming up in November about some of the issues. We're definitely taking questions. If y'all have any questions that y'all think should be asked during this town hall meeting, we got a panel here. We're going to be discussing some of the issues that's going on in Colorado Springs, from poverty all the way up to jobs, all the way up to what y'all think should be happening in the community. So that's going to be going on September 18th. We have a lot of wonderful people coming through. I'm so excited because you know I'm going to be hosting it. I am super excited. Town hall meeting September 18th. Make sure y'all tune in, especially if you're in Colorado, because like I said, we have the elections coming up November 18th. That's going to be our general elections. It's a big deal because them 2-year elections is where they try to sneak in all that stuff on you. So make sure you get with Family Clear to Slide or me, Tiffany Deni, if you have any questions that you want to make sure that get asked in this panel and in this town hall, and also keep up with us on social media, and I will definitely make sure to get those issues concerned and everything else that you guys want to ask some of these people who are out here in your community speaking for you done. Let's get it done. Also, we have Homeless Not Hopeless on October 23rd. You know we're going to be out here taking care of people who are without shelter right now. It's a big deal. We're all just one bad decision away from homelessness. We're all bad decision away from jail. And not everybody who is homeless made a bad decision. Life just happened. So you want to make sure you come out here on October 23rd. We're going to be out here just making sure we're having a good time with people of our community who just are without shelter. So we're going to make sure we got them toiletries for them. We're going to do some haircuts. We're going to make sure that life is good. And if you have anything that you want to donate, you want to make sure that you want to hit us up. Once again, Tiffany Deni, Family Flavors or Slide. You can call the station 719-300-7936 and make sure that you give us anything that you want to donate. We can take clothes, we can take toiletries, we can take whatever you think you just have lying around the house that somebody else could use who is out there and they're shelter deficient. So make sure that you pay attention to that. We also have, I think yesterday, either way today, we probably still have some backpacks, but we do have the backpacks still going on through the end of the month. So if you still need some school supplies, I know most of the schools have started, but you want to make sure you hit us up for that as well. So that's what's going on right now. I know we have Beats, Eats, and Sneaks coming up, so I'm probably going to see if we can get Mr. Craftmatic back, because Craftmatic not only gave us a great conversation the first time, but he's just a fun guy to be around. So we have that coming up in the community. We have a lot of things still happening in the community. You know, you can keep it in lock with me, and I'm going to make sure that I keep you guys focused on what we got going on in the community. Now, as for the culture, there is so much that has happened. Oh, we do need to talk about a couple more things in the community. Excuse me. We need to talk about, this affected some of the people that I know as well, but we did have a homicide here with Jeremy J.J. Diaz, and rest in peace to him. That happened a couple weeks ago. But we do have an arrest there. 25-year-old Brian Alford, he got arrested for first-degree murder for Mr. J.J. Diaz. I hope we figure that out, because nobody wins in those situations. So I hope we figure that out. Mr. Diaz left 8 kids. That's not something we want to leave behind. That's tragic. So I'm saddened to hear about those things that happen in our own community, but I'm definitely making sure that I can do what I can to make sure that we keep things aware. It's a whole lot of things that we need to keep aware out here. And on the positive note, we do have the first Colorado College president of color. in its whole 100+ year of history. Shout out to Miss L. Song Richardson. And I mean, baby girl had to do the Yale thing. She had to do a whole route, but she is the first president of color of Colorado College, and she a female. So I am excited to see what's going to happen for Colorado College during her tenancy. So we have that going on. That's exciting. Now, within the culture, shout out to Miss Sha'Carri Richardson, who is back to being the first woman the fastest woman on the country again, or in the earth at that. She's the fastest woman in the world again. She just won again on her 100-meter. And Sha'Carri Richardson is fun for me. I don't know. Like, I root for her. We all know she's had a story. She's had a lot going on. And she's young. So I root for her. I wish for her to win. She definitely, if you read her tweets, don't feel like that people are out here wishing for her to win. I wish for her to win. She's young. I don't know. It gives like FloJo's little baby granddaughter type of energy with the nails and the lashes, and I don't know, but she knows she's tight, so I'm a rock with her on that. So shout out to Sha'Carri Richardson for being back to being the fastest woman that we got in the world again. On another note, we have yet another unarmed brother who was killed this last couple of weeks out here. Mr. Donovan Lewis was killed out here in his bed. And I don't like things that don't make sense, and that doesn't make sense. And things that don't make sense to me they irk me, because he was in his bed. I saw the video. It is the video. The body cam just got released this week from the police officers. It definitely was a shoot first, ask question later situation. So that definitely makes my heart hurt. And, you know, of course, just as usual, the officer who shot him got put on paid administrative leave for shooting him, but basically, when you see the shooting, all he has is like his hands up and a vape pen in his hands, and we need to stop getting over that whole thing of feeling like we can't identify the difference between a weapon and not a weapon. Like, if that's something that's becoming a problematic thing, then we need to really discover how we're going to retrain people to not see the difference, or maybe just require better eye exams. It's just things that don't make sense, and I don't like that. So, you know, Donovan Lewis was 20 years old. 20 years old is too young to lose your life, no matter how people felt about you, especially in those circumstances. So I heard for him. You know, they brought the dogs over. They did the most. And when you see the video footage, he's just laying in his bed. So that genuinely just hurts your heart. It genuinely doesn't make you feel good. And we need to stop it. Like, it just genuinely feels like nobody... almost like we're immune to it as a community and as a society. It feels like we're immune to these brothers getting shot unarmed, not doing anything at all. And it can't ever be something that we're immune to. We can't get just over it. We have to realize that this is an issue, and this has been an issue since the Emancipation Proclamation, if we're going to be blunt. Like, so... Donovan, his story hurts my heart, because it's just like, I understand that we're in a country where, you know, you can feel a certain way about somebody, but I thought this was also a country where you were innocent until proven guilty. But respectfully, that only seems to work for one demographic, so that hurts my heart tremendously, because 20 years old isn't enough time on earth to get your life chosen for you like that. So rest in peace to Donovan Lewis, and I hope they figure out what happened and everything else with that, because that case really got to me today. It hurt my heart. I ain't gonna lie, it hurt my heart. I don't like hearing these stories about unarmed people of color being targeted like this, and it hurts my heart more when they're being targeted in your home, because I also feel like there are only a couple of places where you can have a certain level of peace or sanctuary, and that's your home, and that's the church. If you can't find places of sanctuary in those places, then what are we doing? And so, rest in peace to that. We're going to figure that out, and we're going to get that done. But that is just, it's unacceptable. And I don't know if I said it, but that was in Columbus. So, the positive, Miss Sha'Carri; the negative, Mr. Donovan. And our culture is full of just the extremes. I love being part of my culture. It's a beautiful thing, because we get to see a little bit of everything. But it's a lot of pain for all the fun, to say the least. We have a good show for you guys coming up today. I got Miss Melinda Joy Mingo coming in. She's going to talk to us about her story, everything that she's had going on. She done made it all the way from inner city Chicago all the way up to here. We're going to talk about all of her stuff going on, and then we're going to talk about some of the things that you know are going on in the community still. So I'm excited. Y'all want to make sure y'all tune in for the show today because I love us. So make sure that y'all tune in for that. Remember that we do have the town hall meeting September 18th. We do have Homeless Not Hopeless October 23rd, excuse me. And we have everything else going on with Family Flavors of Slide. We got things going on every month. Y'all know y'all can hit me up, Tiffany Deni, or y'all can hit up the station, 719-300-7936. We're going to get to to this music. We're going to play these sponsors, and I'm going to keep my Virgo music going. We had that Wale and that J. Cole playing in the background. You know, I'm going to keep it with my Virgo-ness. So we're going to be right back, y'all. This is Tiffany Deni, Family Flavors of Slide. What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Tiffany Deni. We are back with the Tiffany Deni Show. I got Dr. MJ, I call her Miss MJ, Miss Melinda Joy Mingo here. We're going to talk to her in a few minutes. Let's go over a few things. First of all, y'all know it's Virgo season. I just played one of my favorite potential Virgos, August Alsina. I thought he was going to be a whole lot more than Jada Pinkett's Entanglement, but I'll take it. No Love is one of my favorite songs. It's almost a theme song for me, so he's still a Virgo, and I'll still represent him. Just a reminder, we have the town hall meeting on September 18th with the panel that we'll be talking about with the community, people who are out here talking to you, representing for you. September 18th town hall meeting, I will be asking those questions that y'all want to know, so make sure y'all tune in for that. And we have Homeless Not Hopeless, Volume 9, October 23rd. So if y'all need any information on that, make sure that y'all contact me, Tiffany Deni. Y'all make sure y'all contact Family Flavors to Slide, and y'all can always call the station 719-700-7936. Anyways, we're gonna get on with this show. I got one of my favorite people here in the world.
Hey.
She's like my professional godmother, one of the best people I know, with 6 degrees separation to why I even got this show in the first place. Miss Law Professor, Miss Card Maker, Miss 50 hats wearing, 7 degrees having. I done came from the bottom, now we here. Miss Melinda Joy Mingo, how you doing?
I am fantastic. I'm here with you.
Girl, I'm happy.
I'm happy. How are you today?
I'm good. You know you the Whitney Houston to my Brandy, so I'm just gonna sit here and just be happy that you here. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm good though. I really am. I'm good.
So what hat did you have on today?
Let's see. I had my law professor hat on, and
you're teaching at PPCC this year.
Well, yeah, I do. I've been teaching there for a while, so I'm a communications professor there.
Okay.
But they don't have graduate level degrees, so I do teach at another university because I teach graduate level. So I'm a civil rights law professor.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead and talk. Oh, now you know that's a conversation in its own. So a civil rights law professional in a city like this. I'll give you 4 words to describe what it's like being a civil rights law professor in a city like Colorado Springs.
4 words to describe what it's like. It's a process, it's a journey, it's a call, and it's a destination.
That's but I'll take it.
It is. Because, I think about, some of my story, but I wasn't always a law professor, and I have a coaching business now, which is called Significant Life Change, and so I pay it forward. People have to pay a little something for coaching,
it's
but
a business.
It's a business, right?
We're business people.
But I just have a story, and part of my story, if I could start it now, before but part of my story is really.
I'm gonna let you go ahead and start, girl.
Let me go ahead and start, okay. But I didn't grow up here. I grew up in Chicago, inner city Chicago. Some people still remember these housing projects called Cabrini Green.
I heard them, girl.
You heard of them?
I heard them, girl. They're infamous, girl.
They are infamous.
They are infamous.
It's where that old show, Good Times.
Yeah, girl, they're infamous,
and
girl.
JJ, they are.
So is Good Times.
It is. They are infamous.
I still watch it.
Mm-hmm. But I grew up there. I had a hard beginning because my mom tried to have an abortion with me, and I came out anyway. I'm like, no, Mama, I got to be here. But in the midst of that, I was really sick for a whole year, hospitalized. And doctors didn't think I was going to make it. And so just because of the things I'd gone through before I got even into the world. But 8 weeks after I was born, my father was killed. And my mom was in such trauma, which I understand. She has a baby. She had five other kids. And
okay, I didn't know that part.
Yep, I got five other siblings. And,
I knew you came from a family though.
And so then my father was killed, and my mom had so much trauma, and they told her I was dying, so she gave me away to a couple. You want a baby? They said, okay, we'll take her. So so my family grew up in Gary, Indiana. But anyway, I was in Chicago living with different people back and forth. I never really had a stable place. And I told somebody this story, and they said, you gotta be kidding. I said, I did not have my own bedroom until I was 13. The poverty was so extreme. I slept in a corner. We had all these little beds up in there. They said, how were you? I said, I'm telling you the truth. And my sister said, girl, don't be telling people all that stuff. They're going to be looking at you like, I said, I only tell my story.
It can be inspirational to people though.
Because, you know why? Because people will look at the end result of what you've accomplished, and they don't know what you've had to go through.
At all.
No, and that's why I think that, yeah, I'm a law professor now, but I come from a really hard upbringing. I mean, I had so much shame in my life, and, you know, I can't.
Yeah, I was just watching your TED Talks, girl.
Yes, I did the TED Talk called Shame Off You.
Yes, girl, shame off you,
Shame
girl.
off you.
Yes, girl. And you was out here trying to tell some journey. I was like, look at her telling her story.
I do tell.
And you have a story, girl.
Unashamedly. You know why? Because I'm just like, no.
But I love that title, that Shame Off You title. It's such a great title. I genuinely love that title.
And I that title came about because I used to always feel so ashamed. People were like, oh, you should be ashamed of yourself. I'm so ashamed of you. You just make me ashamed. That's all I heard. I mean, growing up the way I did, you know, disengaged from my family. I was bullied in high school so bad until I had to have police protection. It's the truth. I was beat up, beat naked in the streets, all that stuff. So it made me, you talk about self-esteem, I don't even use those words. I was just broke. I was broken down. I was like, I'm broken down. I don't understand this journey. And then what happened was when I was 14 years old, Tiffany, I had this thing within me like, I don't know my daddy. I ain't seen no pictures when I was a little kid. I don't know how I look. People say, you look just like you look now.
Did you have pictures of your father growing up? Like, did you have anything? Because I remember you mentioning pieces of that in your TED Talk as well, about really not having any type of clue about him. But you have all these siblings, so I guess that's why I asked.
No, I've never seen a picture of my dad. And my mom tore up all my pictures and everything. And so I was like, I know I got one, but I've never seen any pictures at all. And that for me, you know, just brought so much shame. And so when I was invited to do a TED Talk, they asked me what I want to call it. I said, Shame Off You. I said, because I personally have heard so much about shame on you. And my journey, you know, has been, you know, people, so here's the thing I tell people. Never critique an experience that you have not gone through.
That's real, though.
And don't judge somebody else's pain.
Even realer.
Isn't that realer? Because I'm like, you don't know the pain.
You don't know it if you ain't been through it. Yeah.
And it's easy to be telling people to get over something.
It's very easy. It's extremely easy to tell somebody to get over something you've never gone through.
And so when I was 14, I was like, I'm so tired of this here. Everybody tell me I ain't going to be nothing. I started a leadership club in the alley, in the hood.
At 14?
14. I had little kids. They were like, hey.
No, I'm respecting it. I just never heard of it. She said at 14.
I was like, we got to get out of this mess.
Yes, ma'am.
And I would take my little money that I would get my allowance. And I would go buy, we had this store where you go buy your stuff. I would go buy my little candy and stuff. And they'd be like 6, 7 coming back there in the alley. I said, it's leadership time. What y'all want to be when you go up? They said, we don't know, lady. You 14. You older than us. You 14 years old. Give us some candy. I said, you ain't getting nothing until you tell me
go
something.
Go ahead and plant them seeds, Miss MJ.
God, I said, you ain't getting nothing. I can't be a nurse. I'll be a doctor. Okay, give me some candy. But I just believed it was fueling something for me, because in the midst of my pain, in the midst of trying to be a gang wannabe, in the midst of fighting, and in the midst of so depressed, I think about my teenage years. I had such severe depression until it took everything to get up every morning, brush my teeth, get going, just kind of, when I think of that, you know what I'm saying? So, but
do you mind me asking what you feel like may have triggered that, or the root of that could have been?
Mm-hmm.
Like certain roots or triggers?
No, yeah, I know. I just didn't feel good about myself, and I felt abandoned. I just felt that my family grew up in a beautiful home in Gary, Indiana. Michael Jackson used to come over to our house and we taught him his moves. But to come over to our, we didn't get the money, but but they grew up in a nice, beautiful place, and I felt abandoned. I'm like, I don't know my daddy. My mama gave me away. I just felt so rejected. I'm poor. I don't even have my own bedroom. I'm 12 years old without a bedroom, and so it was just abandonment and rejection.
I can see that.
Yeah, it was. So I just say that in the midst of that, when I think about, law professor, and I just wrote a book about a year ago. I'm an author, and it's called.
There we go.
And it's called. What is it called? My book. The colors of culture. The beauty of diverse friendships. I wrote it when I was homeless, though, and it's this national publishing company. I was teaching, and this guy didn't know, but I was talking about the diversity training and stuff. I used to do a lot of that. And he said, we like what you presented, Miss Melinda Joy. Would you want to write a proposal? I go, no, not really. I'm not too interested in all that. But as it would be, I got a proposal, and it's a national company, an international, and they offered me a book contract. I was sleeping in my car in Walmart in the parking lot.
Yeah, I want to talk about that, by the way.
You want to? What you want?
I do want to talk about that real quick.
Okay.
Are we starting right now?
Yeah, we can start right now.
Because I was listening to your TED Talks, and your TED Talks about how your homelessness happened off of the incident of road rage. And, all the car accident and all of that issue. So I definitely want to start into the accident and just how much that affected your life from what you were accustomed to what you had to grow into. And then were you an educator before that, or was that one of the things that happened after, as far as you having, you're an educator now?
I was teaching before then, but I was driving here in Colorado Springs going home from work, and there was the road rage, two guys, big old Hummers, and they were on this narrow street downtown, and anyway, that meant going 80 miles per hour in a 30 mile per hour zone, and so anyways, I was driving, traffic was slowing down in front of me, and I was like, I hope that we don't stop, they're going to plow into me, and so traffic stopped, both of them plowed into me, I was knocked under a viaduct, and at some point I was laying out in the middle of the road. The whole road is just quarantined all because the accident was so bad. I was in trauma mode. My car is up there by a wall, and I'm on the streets under a viaduct. And anyway, as a result of that, I was really injured. I couldn't walk for 8 months really good. I could walk 15 minutes at a time. And so by me not being able to walk and getting therapy and all, my job that I had required me as a trainer to stand and walk and all, and I couldn't do it. So I lost my job, I lost income. My husband had died from cancer a few months after we got here, so I didn't have any family here or anybody. I just came here kind of new beginning. So with that being said, it impacted my life. Because this is what I tell people. When we look at homeless people, we can easily have our judgments and perceptions about why people got homeless, but you don't know their stories unless you know their story. Unless you know their story. And I mean, that propelled me. I lost everything. I couldn't pay my rent in the place I was at, couldn't walk, didn't have any family here. I went through such mental stuff. So anyway, it plummeted me into homelessness. And I was an invisible homeless person because I
saw that term that you used during your TED Talks too, girl. I was listening.
Yeah, because I learned because the invisible homeless is like, you're not out there with no sign, talking about hit me with a quarter and I'll give you a quarter back. It wasn't that. It was, I knew how to go wash up at a gym. I know I've stood in line so many times at the Marion Soup Kitchen to eat. I've been at the Springs Rescue Mission, eating in line with people with a bachelor's and a master's degree. And I tell people, I said, see, because here's the thing about abrupt situations, they so can devastate you. You know what I mean, Tiffany?
Yes, ma'am.
And so people don't understand because they think when you've accomplished something, oh, you have a degree. I go, there's a degree, but there's life. A degree or degrees. I have a PhD. But a degree doesn't stop the circumstances of life.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So that was how that happened. I lived in my car, and while I was in that parking lot in Walmart, I knew how to get dressed, go put the smile on, fake it till you make it, until I finally.
And you're Miss Face It Till You Make It now.
I face it till you make it.
Yes,
no more
ma'am.
fake it till you make it.
We face it till we make it.
We face it till we make it. And I tell people, just go and be real so you can be healed. That's my statement. Be real.
So you can be healed.
So you can be healed.
I love it.
And I'm a person of faith, so my walk with God is very important. And I unashamedly, you know, I don't shrink back from letting people know that if it had not been for my faith, you know, because I didn't have anybody else.
Because that's like the question that I want to know is like, what kept you going? Because that's it easily. I could have just gave up situation, but you didn't.
No, because it was my faith in God, and it was my hope, and all that. In the midst of this pain, I always have this statement. Say this statement. It's mine, and I say, your pain has a mission attached to it. So whatever pain that we're going through in life or that we have gone through, it's going somewhere. We don't know where. But we're not just going through stuff to go through. It's going to make us, if we allow it, it will make us better people. And not better people so that we can accomplish more, but so that we can be better human beings on earth and learn how to have empathy for people and really love people, right? Word. It is. I'm like, because, I'm like, empathy. Put yourself in somebody's
shoes for just one moment.
Like someone said, how do I put myself in someone's shoes and I don't understand? I say, you put yourself in someone's shoes and you listen and you don't judge them and criticize them because they're having a bad day.
You just said, what would I do if I was in this particular situation?
And my book is about the value, worth, and dignity of all people. That is huge to me. I've been so devalued in life, even as a woman leader, a woman of color. I've just been so devalued, you know, because I've been on Wall Street when I got up on my feet, you know, and I do a lot of training at the executive level and stuff like that. But I've learned how to be okay with me, and that I'm not defined by the applause of people or who people say I am. I had to have an identity reset, and the identity reset is that I'm more than what's attached to me.
I love that. All right, we're going to break to commercial, y'all. We're going to play sponsors, play some more Virgo music because it's Virgo season. And, you know, that's my time of year. Either way, we got Dr. Miss Melinda Joy Mingo here telling so much of her story, which is just a huge encouragement. Every time she speaks, it just makes you want to do better for yourself. And when we come back, we're going to talk about this book a little bit because I want to talk about this book. So we're going to talk about this book and about the many, many hats she wears in this city, whether it is a coach or a professor or a card maker or just an overall make people smile person. So we're going to be back with Miss MJ here, and we're going to have some, I'm sorry, I'm so used to calling you Miss MJ. Can I call you MJ on the air? Because I know she's Miss Melinda Joy. She's a businesswoman out here, so let me not play on her name. Either way, we're going to be right back. You know, you can reach me, Tiffany, Deni. We got Family Flavors to Slide, social media, and you can also call us at 719-300-7936. We're going to be right back, y'all. It's Tiffany, Deni. All right, y'all. We are back. It is your girl, Tiffany Deni. We're back with the Tiffany Deni Show on Family Flavors to Slide. Y'all know I got my Virgo music playing. I just played my pink because she's my favorite Virgo, and y'all know I want a pink Beyonce's versus so bad, but I think it was just going to be hard getting either one of them out there because that's just us. Right now, we just played Michael Jackson, Rock With You, which is probably one of my favorite Michael Jackson singles of all time. And the timing is perfect because I have somebody here who has that Gary, Indiana, and Michael Jackson experience. So that is amazing to me. Amazing? I had no idea that was even something that was even in your repertoire of the 20 million titles that you carry. It's also a Michael Jackson kid knower as well.
and he literally, his house, they still have his old original house in Gary.
It's a museum now, girl.
It's a museum, girl. It's on the corner. But he wasn't too far from us. He used to come, and I'm not playing, but my older brother, he seriously used to come over to the house. And when I would go there to visit, and my brother's name was Michael, so he would come over to the house until he started making money.
Girl, that's what everybody say. I'm like, child, it was not them Jackson children. It was bound to be in somebody's house.
Somebody's house.
Next time, though, you got to get Jackie, because that's the one that I got the crush on. So if there's if you have a next time to reverse your life, just see if you can hit Jackie up a little bit more for me, because he's still out here aging like fine wine.
Was he 80 now?
I don't know, girl, but he old and He's older than I am, and he's fine.
I'm gonna tell him too. Y'all out there, y'all know Jackie. Y'all make sure to
you know Jackie Jackson. That's all I'm saying.
Then tell him Tiffany called him old as.
You know what? I called him falling like mine. Okay.
That's true. You did. You
oh my gosh. Either way, so we're talking about your book, Miss Arthur, Miss Melinda Joy, the author. So. Hey, we're going to start with what even got you to the point to writing a book. Because even when I think about writing a book, it takes a lot of concentration. So what made you feel like it was time for you to sit down and actually write a story?
Yeah, you know what? Because my book is centers around the value, worth, and dignity of people. And you know, when I say you're, the very thing that pains you sometimes is the thing that you're called to change. And I was so pained by how I was seeing people devalued all the time. I was like, it ain't right. You know how we treat people. And so it's this South African term, and it's called Ubuntu. And Archbishop Tutu, he coined the phrase in 2008. So anyway, Ubuntu means that he talks about community and that I am because we are. That I can never fully be who I am except that I'm in community with you. And I kept thinking, Tiffany, I was like, you know, so much pain and stuff. And even when I was homeless and in the homeless shelter, one of the things is that we shared everything. You know, you come in there, I got 2 apples, I got whatever, you know. But we had a community. We even started a community choir in the shelter. And so I was like, so what's the difference? In here, we all struggling, and we come out. So I kept thinking, I want to write a book, even though I used to do a lot of diversity, equity training, and I was like, I want to do something different. I don't just want to be a trainer, people sitting in a room looking at me, and this whole thing about humanity and how we treat people as human beings. And so I said, I'm going to start writing, and I started writing, which is what I tell people. If you want to write a book, don't wait until somebody tells you. Start writing what's in you. You know, just go get a journal. You can get a journal from a store. Start writing your thoughts or dictate it so that if you lose your journal, you know what I mean?
You don't.
Yeah. But I'm like, write a book, and you don't have to have a national publisher like me. It just so happened that that person picked me up. But you can self-publish cheap. So I wrote it because I wanted to write a story about how I have learned how to love people, regardless of who they are, their journey in life. And so my book talks about how I traveled around the world. At one point, and I mentioned it briefly that my husband...
We're going to talk about Vietnam?
Yes.
Yes, girl, let's talk about Vietnam.
Not yet. And so I was down at this bookstore called Poor Richards.
Okay.
I don't know if they're still open, but anyway.
I'm pretty sure Poor Richards is still open. I feel like I don't know. I feel like I got an email with them, but then at the same time, I feel like I heard something about Poor Richards. Either way, we're gonna find that out.
So I was in I was in my lowest, and I went down there to get some soup, and they had this big old map on the wall. And this is what compelled me to start writing a book too. Is that I started taking push pins. I felt that I was going to be an international travel, and people were like, you ain't gonna be no international travel. You don't even have a car. You got a bus pass. You on the streets of Colorado Springs. And when I was really going through stuff, people saw me. I would stand on the corner, just so mentally out of sorts. I would urinate on myself. People would pull me off the streets. There's people who still remember. I would stand on corners and they would pull me off the streets. And so just that story. But anyway, I went down there. I said, I'm going to travel the world. I'm going to tell my story. And I started putting push pins on every continent. I said, I'm going to Africa. I'm going to Europe. I'm going to the Middle East. Blah, blah. And they were like, okay, that's nice. This lady's with me. Anyway, I had a dream and motivation greater than my circumstances and my situation. And when I put those push pins there, I was on a bus, going right down into the bus station, getting on the bus, going to my efficiency apartment, sleeping on the floor because I didn't have a bed. And at one, I got a temp job. And as I got this temp job, somebody came to me and said, Miss Melinda Joy, you do leadership training? I go, yeah. Would you go to Africa if we pay for you? So I ended up getting invited to go to Nairobi, Kenya to do leadership training.
That was your first time in Nairobi?
That was my first time.
Okay.
You been in Nairobi?
I have not, but my mommy has. Okay. You know my mother is the traveler.
I know, she's a traveler.
Child.
So I went there, and then I went to Ethiopia because I have a little bit of a medical background. So I worked in an AIDS clinic in the Sudan. Saw poverty and pain like I never had. Then I was invited to South America. I put all these push pins. And in the jungles, I was doing leadership training. And then I went to the Middle East, to Turkey. and finally Vietnam. So I teach in Vietnam. I'm a visiting professor now. In
Oh, you still are in the Vietnam circle?
I'm still there.
Okay, I just thought that was a part of your story in this time, but that's something that's still active for you.
Yeah, it's still active. In
Okay,
2005, I was invited to teach at Hanoi International University. So they flew me to Vietnam. I'm like, oh my God, any black people in Vietnam? They go, no, that's why you're going. But I was so loved there, Tiffany. They loved me so much. When I got off that plane, they had bushels of flowers. They have baskets at midnight. They love me like I've never been loved before. And so between 2005 and 13, I came and go. So I said I want to write a book about my journey as a black woman in Hanoi, Vietnam, walking the streets of Vietnam, nobody looking like me, learning how to love people, the friends that I made, learning how to move past my discomfort to do something I wanted to do. And so that's my book. I talk about my travels around the world, around the theme of Ubuntu, of building community with people who don't like the same thing, don't look the same way, come from different backgrounds in life, socioeconomic classes. But one thing we have in common, we're human beings.
But that human being thing just feels so vast because child, we're still also different.
Mm-hmm.
And I also want to talk to you because we were talking about you being a woman of color with all the credentials that you have, the story that you have. And I just opened up today talking about how CC just elected their first female of color.
Happy. Yeah.
All right, y'all. It is your girl, Tiffany Deni. It's the Tiffany Deni Show. We are here. Family Flavor is the slide. I am excited because, we got one of my favorite people in the whole world here. One of the reasons I even have this show, one of the people even connected me to connect me to get here. So I am excited to talk to Miss Melinda Joy Mingo, Miss Law Professor, Miss Card Extraordinaire, Miss Vietnam Educator.
Yes. Oh, that reminds me. Can I say something really
quick? Of course you can, girl.
About the greeting card. So, you all who are watching this and will be looking at this later. Here's the thing. Birth your own destiny. Remember these words.
I'm listening.
Birth your own destiny and quit always trying to grab somebody else's stuff off a shelf. Birth that thing that's within you. So I always wanted to write for Hallmark cards and Blue Mountain and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I want to be a writer behind. So I send in all my stuff. And they go, no, sorry, we don't need you. Somebody said, go start your own greeting card company.
And I mean, it's real though. That's how independent companies start. Somebody just want to start it.
So I started, I got my printer and stuff. I started with a printer. I got all my, because I'm an artist, I started with all my images. And so now I have a company called Significant Moments by MJ. And this lady just ordered 200 cards.
I know, girl. Because we were supposed to have some time, girl.
Oh, that's right. So that's why I was like, start it. Just build it. Even if you don't have a lot to build it, start it.
Now, another one of your titles is business coach. So what does that all mean? Because that's kind of vast.
Yeah, I'm really a leadership coach, and I think that's a business. But so I do something called leadership presence. And what I believe is that there's so many programs and training things for leaders, emerging leader development, this here, executive, whatever, nonprofit. But I believe a leader is a leader. And here's my statement. Nobody wants to follow a park car.
I mean, no.
So if you're a leader and you're a parked car, that means something is missing. So what I do is, I wanted to pay it forward. When I came out of homelessness, I wanted to do something for the community. People who were homeless or in transition, veteran, anybody who wanted to get back on their feet and they wanted feet. I said feet.
You're okay. You're the only one who caught that.
And then they need help with thinking about their path in life, and I'm a life coach is what it is.
Yes, ma'am.
So I started this business called Significant Life Change, and it's a pay it forward. People, I do one or two sessions in coaching, help them think through life and send them their way. But I wanted to do something for the community and to help. So leadership and business coaching is, I do coach people who want to start businesses because I'm in the human resource management field. And so if they want insights on entrepreneurship, that's a huge piece of what I do. Helping people start their businesses, whether they want to start a cosmetology business in their garage or they want to start cooking business or whatever, I come alongside people, help them think through what their business should look like.
I love that. And then you also have, I'm trying to get it right, national and international resource management services.
Yeah, I am. I'm a part of the United Nations.
So that goes to the Vietnam thing, or
No.
okay, girl, because I thought that was the educator hat.
Oh, but no, actually it is, because I was invited to be an educator with the United Nations and to go there and do a presentation on urban education, because my friend and I started another Pay It Forward a few years ago in 5 points, and we wanted to get people who were coming out of prison and gangs who couldn't get into regular programs. So we started a program called the Green Jobs Initiative. And so my friend, he graduated from Harvard, had with a 4th grade education. He finally made it through there. He said, "What are we going to give back to the community, MJ?" And so we got this grant. We called it the Green Jobs. We got employers who would teach people how to do solar paneling. The green job industry is very lucrative now. And so we taught them green job skills, life skills, people who used to be Crips and Bloods and Dubs and everything else. And
I'm done now. I am done.
She's laughing. That kind of stuff. And so I'm like, you're a leader, but let's re-channel that leadership to where you're gonna really make an impact with all these young people.
I feel that. You know, I saw D a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And he was telling me about, we all saw each other at the dinner.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and with the gangs, and I said, you're out here trying to unite the Crips and the Bloods and all that. I was like, it's giving Meteor Man vibes, sir. Like,
know, right?
We out here trying to save the world, but I appreciate my brothers who are out here doing it for the community. So,
I have a question
shout out
for
to
you.
them. I'm listening.
I'd like to know, for you,
Yes, ma'am.
what motivates you to even have this show?
It's my dream, My dream is to be here for my people and my community, and to make sure that everybody knows that they're as fly as I know that we are. I love my culture. So it's just my dream to just highlight my culture, and if I could just make a move off of that, I would love that, because I love my people. It's fun for me to talk to everybody and to see their stories, where they come from, where they headed, where they've been. I find so much joy in learning so much about the people who are around me that it's amazing to me, because you don't know who's around you and their story and what they got going on. You being one of the biggest examples of just not knowing who could be sitting right next to you and what their whole story is and how it could change people, affect people, impact people. A lot of our stories are original but not different.
That's really good. Well, original but not different. That's so good. And I use this phrase when I'm doing training: different, just like you. And so we're different, and we need to be unique. We don't need to be clones
at all.
But the reality is, I can respect you for who you are. I think the world would be a kinder place, don't you? And we respect.
If we just took the time.
That's really great what you said.
But I'm like, sometimes I listen to people's stories, and you realize that so many people went through what you went through, or we went through it in our own ways.
Yes,
where our stories are original to ourselves, and to being the one of a kind who had experienced it in your shoes.
Yeah.
But you never know who you're sitting next to who could just genuinely be like, no, I understand. I mean, once again, look at who I'm sitting next to.
Oh, and look who I'm sitting next to. And it's reciprocal. My mom was a maid. My mom died a year and a half ago, but my mom was a maid for 40 years. And
I remember that in your TED Talk too, girl.
Yes, in my TED Talk. By the way, if you want to see my TED Talk, it's called Shame Off You.
It is very encouraging. I appreciate that.
I appreciate that.
Girl.
But my mom was a maid, and I just asked my mom worked so hard. I said, even though I didn't live with her, but I knew about her. And I said, Mom, why don't you want to do something? And she was brilliant. I mean, my mom spoke all these different languages, and she said, you just don't get it. She said, I can want to be a maid. And I said, but why? She said, what do you want to be? And I told her, she said, well, I don't want to be. She said, I am a value keeper. And I said, well, what is that? She said, I've learned how to value people, even when they look at my maid uniform. And she said, for 40 years, I have cleaned toilets. I have done people's starched shirts. But she said, but I've also danced with presidents, kings from different countries. I've gotten $1,000 tips. I've had people who have highlighted, me. I danced with some of the best. She said, you just gotta be okay at being you.
And that's real though. That's real though. And I'm sorry. I mean, I think a lot of us would have more peace if we were okay with just being us.
I know, don't you think so? I mean, just trying to be.
I feel like that actually is what is the cause of a lot of not peace between people is just not being okay with what you were called to do and being who you are, especially in the era where we all want to be a certain type of person or fit a certain type of mode or be accepted in a certain type of way. And with you being a black woman who has, number one, in law, do you feel like you felt that difference? Because we could talk about the many degrees you have, but I think that one of significance is one where it's definitely a difference between being a black woman and not being a black woman. Mm-hmm. So do you feel that difference, especially when you're going to talk to law enforcement and you're going to these courthouses, you being this woman of color, do you feel that difference?
I do sometimes, but you know what? I've just come to this place because with what I do, as a law professor and what I share, especially like with disability law and everything, I'm an advocate for people. And they know when I walk in there, yeah, you'll see me as a black Native woman. But when I walk in there, I'm an advocate for disabilities. I'm an advocate for civil rights, and they know that. And so I'm very much a proponent for that. And yeah, you feel the difference because, again, the system was not really made for certain people. And so as we look at that, even for blacks in the community, I think part of it is just, again, and I keep saying knowing who you are. And sometimes we're put in places so that we can bring change and be a difference. You know what I mean? And so I see myself in that capacity. People stunned. One time I was in a boardroom and I was getting ready for a board meeting, and these guys walk in and go, so do you know when the person who's going to lead the board meeting is here, and are you the secretary? I go, no, have a seat. I said, I'm leading this meeting.
But that's what I mean when I ask these questions, those little small differences there where it doesn't even seem to cross somebody's mind that you can be as qualified as you are. And you having, what do you have, a doctorate in law?
Yeah, no, so I have a bachelor's. My bachelor's is in human resource management. Okay. My master's incorporated the law piece of just employment law and civil rights. My PhD is in global leadership, and then I do have that piece in there about global international law.
That's crazy.
It is. I say the same thing. It's
and you just named the top 3 of your degrees. You have, what, 6, 7 total?
No, I just have 3, 4.
Just 4?
How many you have? You have one too.
I'm working on it.
No, but you do. You have one.
I have one credit-wise, but I don't have a degree on paper.
But I have a new thing for you.
I'm listening.
You have a degree in life. No, seriously. I'm not. That's not. And it's even if you haven't gone to a school or whatever, your lived experiences, they qualify you for a life degree. So just remember that. Yeah.
I think that I've gone through things, but there's people who have way deeper stories.
Oh yeah, but it is. But you never compare your stories, so that's the thing.
I don't. I try not to, but I compare in the sense of just making sure that I remain humble in
that's right, humility.
What I have, and the fact that my story could have been way more different and way worse, especially if you think about the level of hard-headedness on my end. So I definitely am. I'm aware of the fact that my hard-headedness does not match the severity of my story because I have been passed out right here, about right across the street from Black Sheep before, and I still made it home safe and unbothered and untouched. So I definitely am very, very blessed in the fact that just my level of hard-headedness has not matched the story, because it could be way
No,
worse.
I know what you're saying. Because people see the glory, but they don't see the story. That's the truth, right? If they see the glory, that's Tiffany.
Oh man, and I work with a lot of people who are younger than me, and I'm like, y'all think I'm saying these things because I know everything, and it's not I know everything. It's because I see you making those certain moves that I made when I thought that I knew everything, and I know that this is gonna go left. This isn't gonna.
It's going sour.
It's not a know everything thing at all. It's I've been there. I know where you headed, and it's not fun.
But then you have experience, even as a young woman in this community, Yeah, definitely your community, you know, it's black people and people of color, but you have experiences that translate color and ethnicity because pain is an equal opportunity destroyer.
I love the way you said that.
It is.
I love the way you say that.
How much you gonna pay me for it?
No, when I get to it though, I got you. You already know. You already know you in the top 10 of the checks. I gotta take care of my mama first, but I got you right after that. All right.
Mama.
I gotta take care of my business godmother after my mother.
Yeah, but I do want to say.
And you know she adores you too.
Oh, does she? I adore her.
You.
I love her. That's my friend.
You know it ain't nothing but 3 of y'all. What's about 5 of y'all female of color pastors out here in the city?
It's 2.5 of us. No, I said that because yes,
it ain't nothing but a handful, maybe, of female of color pastors in the city. So my mother absolutely loves you.
But I love you too. I love your mommy, and I want to say to you too that I do respect you highly. And I'm saying that not because you've asked me to say anything, but that's coming from your business godmommy here, your United Nations God. I do respect you because you have such a drive, and then you love your community. And I'm telling you, I mean, at some point here, you're going to be calling me. I'm going, where am I going to meet you at, Tiffany? You're going in my place here where, you know, whatever. But I want to encourage you to keep going. Yeah, I just want to encourage you to.
You know that means the world to me and much more. Miss MJ, I'm just happy you came. I appreciate you for stopping by today. Miss MJ, where can the people reach you at? Where can they find the book at? And let's remind people what it's called when you tell them where to find the book at.
Yes, it said Barnes and Nobles. You can go online.
Go ahead, girl.
See that?
Go ahead, girl.
Not yodo.com. Look at her shake that head over. It's that Barnes. Gotta have fun.
You gotta have fun.
You really do.
So I love what I do.
It's at Barnes and Nobles. It's at Amazon. You can go on Amazon. And it's the colors of culture, the beauty of diverse friendships. You can actually, if you Google it, it's a different, and I have an audio book and I have a Kindle as well. So
I'm an audio book girl.
Oh, your audio book? I'll make sure.
Yeah, I got my headphones on.
Have you read my book yet?
No, not yet.
See, that's okay though.
We talked about 5 different times to this TED Talks references. There is levels, and I am making it. Miss MJ. I'm supporting.
Yes, you are supporting. I love you too. And I have 5 books, so I want to.
Wait.
Oh, and if they want to reach me.
You have 5. We're going to talk about that next time you come on the show.
Oh, no, not me to give to you.
Oh, yes. We do want to talk about that real quick before we dismiss Miss MJ. Miss MJ is giving me 5 books to give away to people. So y'all make sure I'll be giving away 1 book every week with every show. Make sure y'all hit me up. Tiffany the Godmother, I'm excited. And y'all, I will be reading this book between this show and next show so that we can talk about it personally because I can't do that no more. I got you, Miss MJ.
It's okay. But yeah, and if people want to reach me, my email is just my first name, Melinda Joy.
Yes, ma'am.
373. You know my last name, Mingo, is Native American, and it means many bright sunshines.
That makes sense. I've only known one other Mingo in my life, and he was a very sunshiny person.
He was a sunshiny person.
He was a very happy, fun person in my life. We're going to shout out to Mingo. Anyways, we're going to keep it going. Miss MJ, thank you so much for stopping by. We're going to come back. We're going to continue to update y'all what's going on in the community and the culture before we get out of here. Thank y'all for tuning in. It is Virgo season. I'm having fun. Miss Melinda Joy, she joined us today for this last hour to talk about all of her wonderful things that she has going on that impact us as a community and a culture. So thank you, Miss MJ, for tuning in. We're going to take care of our sponsors. We're going to take care of the show. We're going to be right back. It's your girl, Tiffany Deni. Hey, y'all. It is your girl, Tiffany Deni. We are back with the Tiffany Deni Show. We are here Wednesday. I am excited because we had a great show. I got to talk to one of my favorite people, Miss MJ, Miss Melinda Joy Mingo. She got to talk to us about just her story through, ultimate homeless, not hopeless, which we have here at Family Favors. It's not October the 23rd, so make sure y'all are here for that, and y'all contact me with any information y'all need on that. But thank you, Miss MJ, for stopping by today and talking about your story and, now obtaining 4 degrees, from somebody who was homeless, and she started out in inner city Chicago. So that is the story on the story on the story. So shout out to Miss MJ for coming, and then we're gonna close out here soon, y'all. But I'm gonna close out on something nice. I'm gonna close out on something inspiring. and something that's positive. We're going to talk about Queen Serena Williams, who was on her last tournament ever. It makes me wish I was rich because I feel like I am missing the greatest athlete of all time retire right before my eyes, and she's calling it evolving. I'm calling it retiring from tennis. You know, Venus and Serena being such a huge part of my childhood and such a huge part of representation for me as this little chocolate girl. You know, you have these two sisters from Compton who go on to change the world. So to watch Serena Williams go on and, you know, bow out very gracefully after who knows how long. She's had 23 Grand Slams. She's out here killing it right now. In this last tournament, she just went on to the third round of the U.S. Open. So she's still a go out here in my book. She's going to go out strong and beautiful, and I'm so very proud of Serena Williams and the representation that she had for me growing up. But I'm sad. I'm sad because I feel like it's the end of an era for me. But it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And then one more time, we'll be talking about female athletes. One more shout out to Sha'Carri Richardson, who was out here killing it. And she is back to being the fastest female in the world right now. Jamaica had it for a little second, but she came back hungrier than ever. So, you know, you got my love and support out here, Sha'Carri. Before we get out here, we just want to make sure that we keep y'all updated what's going on with Family Flavors The Slide. We got the town hall meeting, which I will be hosting September 18th. It is the volume 2 of it. It is important because we're going to be out here talking to some of the people in your community who are out here representing you and speaking for you. We're going to be talking to people who are going to be running for this election that is coming up here in November, the general election that is right around the corner. November seems far. It's not far. The election is 2 months away, and this is an election where they're really going to put some things on that ballot, y'all, and where the people that you are voting for, it really matters, especially if you're in this local level. So make sure you tune into the town hall meeting on September 18th, and then make sure that you remember that we have Homeless, Not Hopeless, Volume 9, October 23rd. We're going to be out here at Dorchester Park, which is right off Nevada and Las Vegas, and we're going to be out here making sure that we can do what we can to make sure that we take care of roof deficient people and making sure that they have what they need as far as their toiletries. We're going to be out here with, you know, our DJ. We got the haircuts, and we talked to Miss MJ, and you never know, Miss MJ might have a purse sleeve. So make sure you tune in. Homeless, Not Hopeless. I will be back next Wednesday, and y'all tune into my show. We got Queen's Show on Friday, which I might make an appearance of. And you know, later in the month, I got Miss Regina English coming by, and she has Fashionista Fridays as well. So make sure y'all tune into Family Flavors The Slide. We got so much happening here. It is a blast, but it's also important because you know I'm here for the culture, with the culture, and by the culture, and this station is for the culture. So I'm getting ready to head out, y'all. I appreciate y'all for tuning in yet another week to the Tiffany Deni Show. And you know, if you want to contact me, you can reach me on social media at Tiffany Deni or Deni the Godmother. You know, you can always hit up Family Flavors WBN, or you can always call the station at 719-300-7936. That's me this week, y'all, and I will see y'all back next Wednesday. All love. We'll talk to y'all next week.